So welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters.Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Ah!
I was just waiting for the surprise. All right, man, just on my edge of my seat, just waiting for it.
For Ryan's jalapeno pineapple, I thought we should call it the jalapeno business. I'll just sit on my sit and spin and try not to get too dizzy.
Yeah, we got to do your thing.
I was gonna say, are we gonna have this fried chicken conversation now?
We're gonna have the fried chicken conversation.
This is the most ridiculous thing.
Chicken that's got beer in it, kind of like a rum ham type of situation. Oh boy. Yeah, I just want to know how many of these do I have to drink until I get my cholesterol down. Is that how this works?
No,
I think that's how this works.
Yeah, all the things that Grandma told you not to do.
Really?
The correct answer is 8 Koopas long. I don't know how long that is, but
that's a turtle. The concept of Mr. Lost Man is more of like a flat Stanley type of thing.
The opening in his neck looks like the opening of
Wow. No.
You know the grandmother from the Golden Girls? It looks like her grandmother.
Ah, man. That part when E.T. comes rolling in and that DeLorean with Voldemort driving, best part ever. Gotta say it.
Hell yeah,
now
dude.
we have Back to the Future. Oh, Jesus.
That'd be great. Just like in the chatter when they're all fighting, like Fozzie like, waka waka, we see a waka waka.
Just real quick, how long is the side piece for Kylo Ren's lightsaber? Because I feel like if it was any closer to his body, he would impale himself.
Someone's
you guys went there. I've seen longer.
Oh boy.
This is a restricted area. Is this a drill or something? Negative. Bye bye. I hate drills. You crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters.Club, craft brews and geek news. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters.Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Today, great day, National IPA Day. Fantastic. In fact, I've got an IPA. It's a very special one. It's got a very special story. But first, I want to introduce what we are, the Brewmasters.Club, official podcast, the Brewmasters.Club. This is Craft Brews and Geek News. I am Donnie. I am joined this evening by a couple young, lively, knowledgeable young gents. Mr. Lausman, how are you, sir?
Ooh, knowledgeable. Oh boy.
Ryan's the same thing, and Mr.
I'm in the
Ryan, of
wrong
course.
podcast.
Yeah,
Brew
that's all
Boy
right.
813 coming at you guys.
All right, glad to have you guys. And guess what, gentlemen? Not only did we have a unique show tonight because we got a couple articles. We're gonna go through some fun stuff, some pop culture. Unfortunately, Dane cannot make it with us tonight because he's got baby duty, of course. But we do have a certain other character here that is going to be talking with us this evening. It is none other than...
Hello. How's it going, guys? I was just waiting for the surprise. All right, man, just on my edge of my seat, just waiting for it.
Fantastic. Good to
How
see
you
you,
guys
Crobbs.
doing?
This is Christian Roberts, the one, the only, the man we spoke to when you were in Tokyo, right? Last
Yep,
time we
Tokyo
heard
was the
from you
last time.
on the podcast. Yeah, last time he was on the podcast, he was talking about the brewing process in Tokyo, Asaya, or whatever the hell the beer was that you were drinking out there.
I can't remember now.
How you been, man?
Good, real good. Just back in the States now, just enjoying American life once more.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you. It's relevant that he's here because I had actually grabbed a special beer out of the fridge that Christian Roberts left 2 weeks ago, which I begrudgingly kept unopened, as you can see, until this very day, so that this knowledgeable young man can explain it to us. So I want to get things rocking off right away with the "What are you drinking? What are you going to drink?" section. Christian, do you want to start us off with the story of this? Because I have not even tried it. I mean, I tried it 2 weeks ago when you came over, but I couldn't tell you for the life of me what it tastes like. Besides it being an IPA, which again is timely. Segway King, IPA Day is today. Happy National IPA Day, boys.
Happy
Yeah.
IPA Day.
Yeah.
Yes. So that one is Garagista. It comes from my brewery in New Zealand called Garage Project, all the way from Wellington, New Zealand. Actually fun long trip. That beer itself traveled through New Zealand, Hawaii, California, and Florida.
What?
Hell and high
Yeah,
water.
so a bit of travel is just for that one can. But yeah, that was one of the flagship beers from that brewery that we used to do. It's a really nice, lots of malt tone to it. Only about 3 or 4 different types of malt we use for that, so not too heavy, but just really nice. And a lot of hops. It's not a lot of late edition hops, so not many dry hops or like whirlpool hops, but a good amount of kettle hops. So it's got a lot of nice character to it. One of my favorites.
So Ron, maybe you're well aware of this now, maybe you're not. But Christian, the difference between well kettle hops and then late edition. I know late edition dry hopping, you throw them in after the boil or at the late stage of the boil, so it kind of gets the essence of that without that overpowering flavor. But is that the main difference? What is the difference between the hop edition?
So essentially there's lots of different ways, times you can add the hops, but the biggest times you really get the hops is in the kettle. So you get the 3 points, you get your bitterness, you get your flavoring, and you get your aromatics. And then if you're using a whirlpool, which we use for that beer, what you do essentially is just allows everything to settle out to the bottom of the whirlpool. So you can really separate a lot of that hop sediment and protein. So kind of helps out in the filtration later on with the process. But then a lot of people nowadays are using a lot of dry hopping, which is when what you do is essentially during the fermentation phase, you actually will throw a bunch of hops in after the primary fermentation, and as that beer starts to age out before you carbonate it and ship it to production. But with that one, we don't use a lot of it just because when you add lots of dry hops, it adds a lot more aromatics, and so it gets more punch up in the nose. But we wanted to keep that one more balanced with that.
And I want to kick it to you guys because Ryan, as a home brewer, you probably have some questions too. But Crobbs, just because we've talked about this literally like last episode, the loose leaf hopping versus bagged hopping. When you're in a commercial brewery, do you guys literally just, because you have a filtration system, so do you literally just loose leaf hop your beers in it, or is it a different stage? So if you're doing it in the kettle or if you're doing it in the dry hopping, is there a difference? Do you use a bag? Do you not bag it, or what is the process there?
Yeah, so essentially the only time we use a bag is in the fermenter, just because when we're drawing off that yeast, we really don't want to clog it up with a whole bunch of hops in there. So we'll throw the bags in just for that purpose. But if you're using like a hop gun, like Sierra Nevada's Torpedo, what they do is they actually will just add hops in what's called a downstreaming. And so as the beer is being transferred from vessel to vessel, they actually have vacuum sealed, so it takes all the oxygen out of there. And they have the just whole leaf hops or pellets if they want to use that.
Just dump them right in.
Just dump them right in, yeah. But if you're using the fermenter though, you want to use a bag for sure.
Yeah. Which is exactly what I was going to end up saying at some point in this podcast. I brewed a Belgian beer a couple weeks back. I did it without using a hop bag in even the boil and all of that. But unfortunately, too much of the leftover, the hops were in part of the fermentation process, and it really gave it almost a hoppier sort of connotation whenever I was drinking it. So definitely great insight there, Christian Roberts, man. That's awesome. But yeah, I wanted to share that there's a way to do it. I think with certain types of beers, maybe you want to use a hop bag even in the boil phase or something like that, like a Belgian, because you don't want it unless you're doing a hoppy Belgian, which is what it is. Now, you don't want to have it always too hoppy. You want to taste those different spices and aromas that come from a Belgian beer. So
yeah, absolutely. Especially with home brewing, just because of the kits that most people are brewing with. Hop bags are generally a man's best friend with those environments.
Bro, I am past the kits. I am doing my own styles, my own creations right now. But yes, to that too, you get those kits and it's like they give you everything you need, except they don't really always give you an actual sanitizer. They give you a cleaner, which that was a big mistake. Yeah, definitely right on point with that.
Solid. Laus, thoughts?
I'm happy to hear everyone doing
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
I was actually going to jump into the beer that I got from our good friend Gus over at ABC Liquor, because he gave me a double dry hopped IPA from Trillium. It's called the Sleeper Street. So I was going to share that real quick if I could. I know you got to grab a beer, but
yeah,
what do you? First impression is it's very comparable to one of my favorite breweries out there. Uinta is the name. They have a great IPA, but it's very comparable to that. It's brewed with an American two-row, a white wheat, a dextrin, and C15. I've yet to experience anything brew-wise with the white wheat, the dextrin, and C15, but that's okay. And then, of course, Eldorado hops and Columbus hops to give it that hoppy flavor. It's very smooth. It's a double. I'm trying to figure out. Crobbs, maybe help me out here. A double dry hop. So I'm assuming they dry hopped it, then they did another dry hop before they took it in and kegged it or bottled it and stuff like that at 2 different stages. So
Yeah,
what's your
absolutely.
experience with that?
So really what it comes down to is you can use that name in different ways. So if you like I was talking about downstream hopping, where you actually have a device in your hoses that still can consider that. So you can hop the tank and then hop it to the hose, or you can exactly what you're saying is you can just hop it for generally when you whenever you hop a beer, you don't want to leave the hops in too long. So hop into one tank and then transfer it over to another tank and hop in that tank.
Gotcha. Well, it's very much a smooth beer. Like I said, very comparable to the Uinta IPA. Comes in at 7.2%, and the can is gorgeous. So I'm definitely going to enjoy drinking this. Before I was going to share my Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA, but this one kind of got given to me. Always a classic. Although, Donnie, you had the 120 the other day.
Yeah.
You sent us a picture.
I'm not
How was
opening
that?
it yet. I'm not opening it yet. That's going to be for a different day. But Crobbs, before we move on, I wanted to ask you about this one. What's the IBUs? What's the ABV on this bad boy? It tastes. So before you say it, it isn't overly bitter, but it's like you said, it's a little malt forward for an IPA, but it leaves you with the bitterness, the hops, the citrus. I can taste all that stuff. I wouldn't say it's overly alcoholic either. Maybe like what 7, 6.5.
5.8 actually, close.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's. I wasn't gonna go 9 or 8 because I didn't think it was overly alcoholic. But yeah, definitely listen to Highlight. But it's got a nice hazy color to it too. It's
yeah,
really good.
And it's actually great because that one we use a little bit American and a little bit of New Zealand hops in it as well. So it's got a nice little balance between the two.
So
bitterness,
did
though,
you
I'd
brew?
say-
You were brewing on your tour too. So what'd you do? You just found a brewer and hey, I want to brew with you? What happened?
So Christian, why don't you give us that intro? I'm sorry, Laos, we're just steamrolling you big time, man.
That's cool. Steamroll away, man.
All these questions keep coming into my head. It's been forever.
And I forgot we didn't even give Christian a proper intro. For anyone that wasn't on the cast with us in the second or third episode that we literally did, Christian was there, and he wasn't exactly where he was now, but he was brewing here in Tampa Bay. So Christian, give us a little background, and then roll into Ryan's question, and I have more questions about New Zealand hops because it's fascinating. It's the other side of the world, like literally the other side of the world.
Oh, absolutely. So essentially, yeah, I was brewing here at a little brewery you guys might know called Tempe Brewing for a little bit. Left to travel around for a while. Went all over Asia and then ended up in New Zealand. And to answer your question, Ryan, yeah, actually, I fell in with 2 breweries while I was there. I worked at a brewery called Moa Beer, which is one of the biggest international breweries that's still privately owned in New Zealand. And then ended up working with Garage Project, which Garage Project is actually the fastest growing brewery in New Zealand and also the fastest growing business in New Zealand. So those guys are really cool. They started off real small. They still do things in a small way, but they have other facilities they just opened up recently. So they have a big production facility, and they also have a wild workshop. And so we brought in a guy from Germany, and we're doing some crazy experimentals. So yeah, I got to work. Great opportunity. I got to work with them where I got to cellar and brew while I was there.
That's amazing, man. I'm actually kind of jealous because
Ryan's discovered this newfound love for brewing beer.
Dude, I'm stoked you got into
I've been brewing ever since, well, right before Donnie's birthday. Donnie and we brewed the Spartan Kick IPA. And then I've been brewing just 1 gallon batches because I want to perfect that. Everybody out there knows. But just been brewing consistently, like weekly. I've got a different batch going. You know,
that's awesome.
brewed
That's the way to do it, man.
jalapeno IPA now on number 3 for that version. But just extremely jealous. I mean, you've got a wealth of information. I kind of want to learn more and pick your brain.
Yeah,
maybe even
more,
man. Actually, I think we should brew together, my friend.
Oh my God,
down, man! It's been a long time since I've home brewed.
I don't want to steal Louse's thunder, but Roberts and Roberts Brewing, Roberts Squared Brewing Company.
Oh, boy.
I mean, we have the same birthday and we have the same last name. What are the odds of that?
None.
And the same
I say
passion.
let's do it.
And the same passion. That's amazing. Gosh.
Look, Crobbs, before you kick off yours, Louse, what are you working with, man? We need to hear something out of you.
Oh, boy. Well, Crobbs, since you've been gone, I've been focusing on coming up with names for beers. Pretty much just nicknames, names in general. Fun names, cat names.
Let's
all
hear some,
fun.
man. I'm gonna hear one of the names.
Oh, we don't need it. Okay, well, most recently, for Ryan's jalapeno pineapple, I thought we should call it the jalapeno business.
I'm digging it.
I believe that was.
I believe it.
I think I did also come up with a Spartan Kick IPA name. I think that was me.
Yeah, I think so. I made the Photoshop.
I didn't actually do any Spartan kicking. That was actually Dane, but I came up with a name. I thought that'd be pretty great. So, kind of a big deal. I got that going for me. But in terms of beer for this evening, I kind of played a real easy card here. I went with a Two-Hearted Ale. I mean, it's delicious, and I can't say no to it. And I bought a case of it for way too much money, so I was like,
that's good. Well, because we talked about it last week. Remember, it was the #1 beer in the nation right now. Is that what it is?
Two-Hearted,
I think it's
man.
been long running with #1 beer too.
It was number 2.
It was number 2.
For a while. Yeah.
Okay.
It just became.
It just beat out Piney and the Elder or whatever.
Yeah, Piney and the Elder. Yep.
Well, I couldn't say no to
Boss
it.
man,
so.
don't downplay that beer, man. That's a great beer. You can't beat it for $10 a 6-pack.
I'm not, but I just realized that I'm the only one who thinks that there's a small degree of magic that goes into making this, and I still have no idea how to do it. And you all three do. And I was like, uh-oh. I realized that I'm the dum-dum in the room.
Oh. Well, now you know how I feel when you guys talk about Star Wars and all that other stuff. So.
True that. I'll just sit on my sit and spin and try not to get too dizzy.
Yeah, well,
you guys do your thing.
Christian, don't you know about Dragon Ball Z?
Oh yeah, man. Who doesn't?
You guys
have you been keeping up?
No, we're not there yet.
Oh, we could. Totally could.
Jump ahead.
Christian, what are you drinking? Because then we got to come back to this piece of shit that I got for Jenny that she hated. So what are you drinking? And then we'll get into that.
So I'm kicking it old West Coast style with Stone Ruination double IPA.
Nice, Ruination. I don't think I've had that.
Oh, it's good, man. It's it's one of their long. They've been doing this one. Beers is pretty much as long as they've been open. For a double IPA, does not drink like it. It's an 8.5%.
Really?
But it drinks like an old early 90s, late 90s West Coast IPA. So just lots of strong malt character, but really nice citrus notes to it. So one of my favorite drinkables. Next to Arrogant Bastard, got to say Arrogant Bastard still #1 for me.
Really? That's your favorite beer?
From Stone.
Good clarification there.
Yeah, you're about to pick that up, Boss Man.
I had my hand on it, and then I go, let me just go ahead with the Two-Hearted, and I ripped that one instead.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's a lot better than the choice when Jenny and I were out, and we kind of went crazy, and we bought a whole bunch of craft beers, and I filled up a growler for the SYNEK system that we have, which is we're going to get into. We'll do a mid-roll ad for them because it's I've been really having a good time with that system. But I bought this terrible thing for Jenny. It's the Duchess de Bourgogne, and it's real bad.
Is that the name of a movie?
Literally it's a fresh off the boat Belgian ale. So it's a true and tried, dirty down, very highly respected actually. 92% on Beer Advocate, 93 from the Bros, whatever that means. But it's very high reviewed, and it's $12 for a 4-pack, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, which is crazy. 6% alcohol, but this literally tastes like malt vinegar.
And I gotta say, Donnie, I've had that one before, and I wasn't a huge fan, but I definitely think that one got a little warm because the way it sounds like somebody mishandled that product.
Probably
shouldn't be that bad.
It was real bad. And you know me, I like beer, and I like some of this is bad. So it was clearly either bad, which it didn't look bad. It just tasted like malt vinegar. I couldn't even drink it. I poured it on the drain. It was bad. It was bad.
We won't even say party foul or what do they call that? Alcohol abuse or anything like that.
Yeah. It needed to be abused, man. It was real bad. But even in the notes, I was just reading through notes of balsamic vinegar, but with sweeter fruit notes, like balsamic vinegar and sweet fruit notes. I'm open to a lot of beers. There out of 100 beers, I will like 99 of them, but this is one that for a sour do not. But
who even writes that? Like, balsamic vinegar and then sweet notes. Who does that?
Well, it's definitely like it happens when especially with barrel aging, balsamic vinegar and fruity notes go together. Like sherry, considered an off flavor with a lot of times, but too much oxygen.
Sherry's sweet. Like port is sweet. Sherry is sweet. But malt vinegar.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely can go wrong fast.
Maybe that's right. Maybe I'm
with it.
And you know what? I'm bold enough where I'd buy it again from a source that I knew maybe handled it right. Like if our buddy Gus handed this to me, I'd say, okay, Gus, like I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll try it again. But I will never buy that again unless it comes from Gus.
Roger that.
Probably
I'll let
good
him know.
idea.
I got one more beer just to talk about, Christian, because I wanted to see if you've had this before. Have you tried this?
Yeah,
an
Jenny
the
was drinking
IPA.
that last time I was over there.
No,
Remember?
she wasn't. She was drinking the Sequench.
Oh, okay.
This is the Dogfish Head Lupu Luau.
I don't think I've had that one then.
All right, I'm going to crack it
Luau,
open
luau.
and drink it while we're talking, just because I got this at the same time as I got the Duchess of Crap and the 120. Because, like I said, we were going crazy buying a bunch of stuff. I kept it because I love coconut, and this is a coconut IPA. Because today is National IPA Day, I got to try it out. So as we move on to the next couple stories, I don't know, Ryan, do you have the notes up?
I was gonna say, are we gonna have this fried chicken conversation now?
We're gonna have
Because
the fried chicken conversation.
this is the most ridiculous thing.
I was very
Ever.
bothered by it as well. I saw it. I was just like, what?
First off, this does taste this. It smells very sweet. This has a nice coconutty, not exactly coconut, but a nice coconutty kind of aroma to it. So I'm interested. But moving on, I'll just kick it off. Basically, what happened is there's a brewery. There's a brewery that's called Vale. It's called Vale Brewing, and they brewed a beer with fried chicken. So there's an image that's floating around Snapchat of literally a guy taking handfuls of fried chicken and throwing it into the.
That is Chick-fil-A chicken.
I
Right
know,
there.
Yeah.
right? It looks chick- it-
That
it-
is Chick-fucking-fil-A right there.
That is an expensive waste of chicken.
Expensive waste of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta just say, as soon as I saw that, I was just immediate thought, I was just like, wow, that's trend brewing gone horribly wrong.
Trend brewing, that's a new term. You saying trend brewing is in like, whatever's trendy, we're just going to try and figure it out and see what it does?
Yeah, like right now it's just
Interesting.
throwing food into every
Yeah.
every beer you can find. So it's like you mean fruits and vegetables is one thing, herbs and spices, but let's just start throwing food in there.
I mean, I'm all for beer battered chicken, but I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
sure if I'm for beer flavored or chicken flavored beer. I who does this? Like, for
Well,
real?
yeah.
Why?
I will say though, Lagunitas does do a Thanksgiving beer where they dunk turkeys and baste the turkeys in their beer while it's boiling. But that's a whole different thing.
I'm just surprised that the picture that's on Snapchat and all that doesn't have a guy in the background just punting Chick-fil-A sauce. Like, if you're gonna waste all of this, you might as well just waste it, right? Like,
Polynesian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, precisely.
What
I
I
mean,
read,
he's not even using gloves.
yeah,
like-
whatever. Yeah, he's true. He's like just going at it like an animal, like a monster. What I did read about it though is that the fried chicken didn't do much for the taste. It literally just was like exactly like Christian Roberts called it. Was a trend brewery. They were just messing around with it, and you can't taste the chicken. It just seemed like a fun thing to do. So. Good on him. I thought that was interesting. It was certainly a weird picture, but again, that's Vale Brewery, so look it up if you want to see. Yuck. I don't know. They threw a bunch of chicken into the mash, and that's what happened. So
I feel like you could save the chicken and just, if you wanted to, I mean, because what is it, 610? They have that Bubble and Trouble, whatever Belgium beer. It's like a spicy beer of sorts. It's like herbs and spices. Just throw in the herbs and spices. Throw in the flavors of what you would bake or deep fry some chicken in, and that might have been more beneficial to this
Oh
beer.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
You were like Lay's potato chips. You didn't have the fried chicken potato chips. There's no actual fried chicken in your chips.
Yeah,
Just flavoring
exactly.
to make it taste like
just
it.
flavor.
Are you-
Oh, it's
are
the
you-
Babel. I'm sorry, Donnie, the Babel.
Babel.
From 610. Yes, sorry. Not
So are you saying that
Bubble
we
and
should make a Lay's potato chips beer? Is that what you're saying, Christian Roberts? We're just gonna throw a bunch of
No, Doritos Ranch.
it'll probably taste
or
it'll taste like the Sequence. Go ahead, Laos.
I was gonna say, or are you saying that we should have chicken that's got beer in it, kind of like a rum ham type of situation?
Rum
I
ham.
would not be opposed to that.
I'm game.
Oh yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Thanks
I mean,
for a
we
great
used
Those of
Christmas.
you watch
and
It's Always
Thanksgiving.
Sunny.
My last brewery, we were making sausage out of our stout. So I mean, I'm all for making food and beer together, but not beer with food.
I agree. Huge fan. I like that.
Okay, so quick
Get that
tangent
off the ground.
before we get back. Go ahead, Ryan. Okay, I was gonna say a quick tangent before we get back into that. This is amazing. It smells a little bit like pineapple, but it's got a little bit like of a smoky, sweet coconut aftertaste to it. It is not hoppy at all. At least maybe not to my palate, but it's wonderful.
The coconut could probably calm down that hoppiness too.
Yeah, Donnie, hold up the glass real quick. I want to see that color again.
It's hoppy up front, and then it kind of calms down. Like it calms down and just leaves you a little bit of like smoky roasted. It literally tastes like coconut. You know the coconut that's like on the peel, so it's kind of got that like nutty, like an acorn. Almost. It's like a nutty coconut flavor, but it's not overpowering. It's hardly even there, but love it. 7.3%. If you like coconut and you like IPAs. It's wonderful, and there's no better beer to drink besides the one from Garage Brewing and this one, of course, on National IPA Day. So wonderful, great. Gorgeous. You guys have anything else on the fried chicken beer?
I hope not.
Can it? No, like in the trash, not actually canned.
Throw it away.
Oh boy.
So the next article that we have here is an article that I found on the businessjournal.com, bizjournals.com. And it's basically labeled "Science. This microbrew is good for you." There's a kid out in, I say kid, but he's a student at National University of Singapore that is brewing a beer that contains probiotics. It's a probiotic bacteria to the degree of about 1 billion probiotic organisms that help make your digestive system function better as a probiotic pill would. So imagine a beer that you could drink that would give you some medicinal benefit of the same quality or same caliber that a probiotic pill would. I thought it was interesting. I don't think it's mass produced by any means, but a beer that can give you probiotics is now stepping into a new territory of health beer, if you will. I think it's kind of interesting. What do you guys feel about that?
I feel like this is just, are they going to put like limit 1 per day on the side of the bottle?
Or else you get terrible shits, yes.
That would just end the date really badly. Like, how many of these do you have to drink before you have to shit everywhere?
Yeah, that would be my one concern too, is because beer yeast already on its own makes you want to shit. It's a natural diuretic. And then adding more probiotics to the mix just seems unnecessary.
Yeah, for real.
Oh boy. Yeah, I just want to know how many of these do I have to drink until I get my cholesterol down? Is that how this works?
No,
I think that's how this works.
I don't really think that's how it works.
I've seen the label. Come on.
So
At least it will have nutrition facts and daily value. So
that's true. Yeah, they will have your daily estimate, which is always good if you're counting those carbs and trying to keep that in check. I don't know.
Throw some vitamin C, some vitamin A, vitamin D. Hell, just call it orange juice.
Yo, if you do that, just drink Hefeweizen.
Go down to your local GMC.
I don't drink beer to be healthy. There are some health benefits, but I don't drink it for the probes. I don't.
Go down to the GMC and get yourself a fat burger and fries for $2.95. Bag it. as a throwback to Fast and Furious.
So does that probiotic beer come in gluten-free, by the way?
Oh, Jesus, I have no idea. Now that's a whole other level of like complexity there for the.
You know what? Let's just take the alcohol out of it and call it a day. Yeah. Why not?
Now we're back to orange juice. Except it's got the pooping quality of prunes now. So you've got orange juice that makes you shit more. That's perfect.
I see our future of podcasting like just going
very far south. Yeah, it's going downhill. I'm sorry for everybody listening. All right, Christian.
That's how we feel about that.
There's the last article from the beer side here that I wanted to get your take on is Farmhouse beers, because we are in I'd say we're over the hump for summer, right? So we're heading on the tail end of summer. I'd say we're past the midpoint. But Farmhouse beer, there was an article that came up, and I think Ryan, you actually sent this to me or to us about the Oxbow Brewing Company. They were sharing their favorite summer beers, and basically all the summer beers that the brewers enjoyed were Farmhouse beers. So Christian, can you tell us a little bit about Farmhouse beers? And I have a little bit of information here, but I know that you know a bit more about this, because I believe it was you that actually introduced me to my first Farmhouse beer, which I think was the Saison DuPont. So
DuPont, yep. That's Farmhouses are always going to be my favorites. They're the last beer brewed in the season traditionally, because they're the warmest seasonal beer. So it's the one beer that you can actually ferment at the hottest temperature, essentially. So it got a lot of yeast character to it. Like Belgian, you think of Belgians as the most, but they have spices that they add to balance it out. But Saisons and any Farmhouses are straight yeast character. And if anyone doesn't know what a Farmhouse beer is, it's actually a beer that's brewed in the south of Belgium and the north of France. Actually, there's a valley where champagne is actually made, and that's traditionally where farmhouse beers were made. It was made by the champagne makers. So the laborers that were making champagne, landowners weren't allowing them to drink the champagne, so they started making farmhouse beers with the same yeast from the champagne.
So if you were one of those workers, wouldn't you be like, nah, man, I just want to leave work at work, okay? I brew all day. I make champagne. I don't want to come back here and make a bunch of booze for you, okay? Like, let's figure this out. But I guess that's not how it works in the farmhouse, huh?
Hey, I'll say I've met many winemakers in my life, and none of them drink more beer than, they all drink more beer than brewers. Like, those guys drink more beer than I've seen anyone else.
Interesting.
More than Laos?
Maybe not that much.
Well,
I doubt it.
So
I was going to say follow-up question, Christian. What's the story with farmhouses in general? The actual houses.
You just want to know why they have houses for farms? Is that what your question is?
That is the actual. Sorry, I was just trying to.
You don't
that's
have to
my whole
answer that.
my shit I'm gonna do. Yeah, don't answer that, please.
You don't have to answer that. Christian, they gave us 3 beers here that you should try if you're gonna try a farmhouse beer. Like you said, it's the tail end of summer. This is when like you said, it's hard to brew. It's winding down from that fermentation period. So they named Saison Dupont, the Crooked Stav Viel Saison, and then the Allagash Saison, which I think I've also had Allagash. But can you think of any more besides that you would turn to if you're going to suggest something for the next month or so that people can still enjoy summer and try some of these great farmhouse beers?
So I mean, those are all great ones. I've only had the Allagash and the Saison Dupont. But I mean, if you're going to be wanting to spend some money, that's where you'd be going for. But those are generally a little more costly. To be honest, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's not real common. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually reached for a farmhouse ale besides like doing it for this podcast, and I don't even remember what episode that was on, so I don't blame you, but I didn't know if you had any kind of insight on those. Ryan, I mean, have you ever considered making one? Do you like the farmhouse? Have you ever had one to your knowledge?
I mean, I don't have a farm, but I have a house, so that's halfway there. Sorry, I really felt like I was pulling the louse out of the back of my brain, but no. Sorry. No, I haven't tried any of those yet. I'm trying to perfect the ones that I've been doing, like porters, stouts, and the IPAs for now, and the Belgiums. The Belgiums seem pretty easy because I think the yeast does most of the work on that one anyway. But no, I haven't tried one of those. But I'm sure if maybe Christian Roberts wants to come over and brew some, then awesome.
I'll be honest with you. If we do a brew together, I'd be 100% down to do a saison because that is by far one of my favorite beers to brew besides Scotch ales, and it is the easiest beer in the world. You don't have to worry about any refrigeration for the most part with that one.
That's true. And Christian Roberts, I think we should talk after this podcast and come up with some ideas because I'm totally in.
Crobbs, Sriracha Ace. Sriracha Ace, man.
Sriracha Ace.
It's a saison. It's not a farmhouse, but
a saison is a farmhouse. And Sriracha Ace is great.
That's like one of my favorites, like beer. One of my favorite beers if I'm going to go out and get something different. If they have a Sriracha Ace, I'm ordering it every time because I love that beer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the hops that use Sriracha Ace is one of my favorite. Sriracha, I'm sorry, is one of my favorite type of hops. One of the few Japanese varieties too.
Well, man, what were you going to
say? If you guys do get together and make a saison, can we call it "Tis the Saison"?
Yes.
I just feel it's appropriate.
If Robert's going to get together and make a beer, we have to name it something better than "Tis the Season." "Tis the Saison" for Roberts.
No, I think that's. Yeah. I mean, depending on the time of the year, which that's probably more of a summer drink. We could throw it in. Why not?
But it's a farmhouse. It takes place at a very specific time.
You know what, Laos? Just for you. We're going to call it that.
Fantastic. Capital. Continue.
Capital. Spot on.
Chip.
If I ever see a "Tis the Saison" out of this podcast, we've got this like copyrighted and timestamp. So.
Right.
No, it's not copyrighted at all. This is free reign. Take whatever you want, but just give us some credit. Give us a shout out on Twitter.
Just give us some free beer if you're going to take the name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Free beer for life.
I guarantee of the 5,300 breweries that are out there, just in the United States alone, at this point in 2017 summertime, I guarantee somebody else has that taken. But
nope, I'm hiring Laos right now for all the beer names.
Well, does he have a law degree? Because otherwise, it's really not worth shit. So that's fine.
Overtime.
All right. So we're gonna move on past the. All right. So what I was gonna do is kick us off into the geek news section. We are cooking. We're cooking with fire, and we're moving right along. As we talked about the SNES, so the Super Nintendo Classic, which has been a thorn in my side, considering that Walmart, I was one of the few that got the pre-order. Then 2 weeks later, got it canceled. So I will have you in my clutches, Super Nintendo, one day, but now it's not the day. As I was looking for the pre-orders, I happened to come upon it, and this. So as shitty as it is that Nintendo releases 3 of these products and expects people to fight tooth and nail over them, what happens when they start talking about them is that fun, interesting people go onto Amazon and write very fun reviews about them, even though they've never played, tested, or used the product before. I don't know why Amazon has this as a feature, but you can ask as many questions as you want, and then the entire database that is Amazon can actually go on there and answer them. So I just took some of my favorite questions that I saw out of like the 9 pages of questions and answers, and we can just hit a couple of them. I know you guys don't have some of the notes up here, but I'll just go ahead and pose the question, and then we'll have some times for reflect, and then I'll tell you what was actually responded to online. So the first question is. So I heard that Nintendo just discontinued this device. Do you think the N64 Classic is going to be announced soon? What do you think the number one answer was for that?
Yes.
Well, the guy basically said, yes, they actually did announce that, and they canceled the NES Classic. The best plan of attack will be get ready for the Nintendo Switch Classic, which is the one that just came out 3 months ago.
No.
Can that console even get any smaller is my question, because that controller is unbearably small.
Yeah, I don't know. The next question is Nintendo going to make more than 10 of these? Secondly, is Amazon going to put a pre-order up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday night so I can wake up too late? And the answer to that is they're only making one, and all that are interested are going to have to participate in a death match to win. The death match will be held at 4 a.m. PST, and the only weapon allowed is a controller and an irritatingly short cord, which is another recall problem from the NES Classic.
So
Did you ever play the NES Classic, Christian?
Like the new one that came out or the original?
Yeah, the new mini one.
No, I've only played the original.
The cord is literally that long. It's about 7 inches.
So your
great.
face is literally in the TV where you're playing.
Yeah, all the things that Grandma told you not to do.
Really?
I mean, it's 3 feet long, and it's literally 3 feet long. But imagine being 3 feet from a cord that's 3 feet long. It's plugged, so you're essentially 6 feet away from your TV. It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
That wouldn't work.
Nope. The next question: will we have a chance to buy this, or will scalpers take over the server? The answer is probably if Nintendo does this and makes so few that they all go to scalpers, so most of us can't get one. Very heartfelt answer. I don't like that.
Yeah, I like to go back to the
that's kind of very
answer.
like,
Yeah.
All right. How about this question? Is your body ready?
What?
My body may be ready, but my wallet is totally unprepared for the shakedown.
It's only $80, dude.
I know. Well, yeah, that's rough. The body is ready is actually from old Big Dick Shiggy. It was a rough translation. And they said, "Is your body ready?" And he meant, "Are you guys ready for the Super Nintendo Classic?" And so the guy just simply played off that and said, "Is your body ready?" Which is not even a good question. How long are the controller cords? The correct answer is 8 Koopas long. I don't know how long that is, but that's
a turtle.
So 8 turtles.
King Koopa, yeah.
Oh, King Koopas are bigger.
Maybe Mini Koopa.
I only have 2 turtles on me, but we could pick up the rest on the way over, Donnie. I mean, we could be over there and measure this out.
How many Koopas will it take? The next question: will it take carts with a T? The answer: only the Mario kind.
Ooh,
which I did like. Yeah, which I did like. The next one: who do I got to suck on to be able to pre-order this? Probably yourself. That's what everybody is doing.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd rather Mario, but yeah, if you want Donkey Kong.
The noises that would come out of that.
Would he wear the tie?
Absolutely. He always wears his tie. Tie never comes off, buddy. Can I play this underwater? I go diving a lot to a place that has no fish, so it gets boring fast. Would love to play there. Yes and no. Only a limited number of games can be played underwater.
Great.
Is that really the answer?
That's the answer. Yeah. These are they're answers from users, and they're questions from users, answers from users. So, yeah, I don't know. Will the cables for the SNES Classic controllers be longer than the 3-inch cables for the NES controllers? Twice. That's the answer. Twice. So, can this toast more than one piece of bread? Absolutely, if you set it on fire. That's the last question I pulled.
Pretty good questions.
I don't know. What we should do is we encourage everyone out there listening right now to go on to Amazon and use our affiliate link. Use the link that's at the top of that's just below this description here, and actually go on there and go ahead and leave a good question. Ask something heartfelt, something that you've really been thinking about, and then we'll post the most ridiculous answers we can find next week. All right. Any questions on the SNES Classic, boys?
I think Amazon answered them all.
Yeah.
That's right. And if you still have those questions, go ahead and ask them on Amazon. I pulled something happened in the Star Wars universe between the last time we spoke to you guys and this time. And what happened essentially was a lot of there was like 8 or 9 Last Jedi photos that were leaked. And they looked like promotional photos, but they also had a weird Snoke. I'm just going to say it. You can see Snoke. Did you guys look at the pictures? Yeah, once you see Snoke, you really can't unsee him.
What happened to him?
That's Snoke. You'll remember him from The Force Awakens, right?
I'm not making a joke. By all means, because this is a very serious answer, but why did they have to make him look like a cigarette cancer patient? I'm dead serious. Like that's
yeah.
No, this is not. No, I'm dead serious. Like there's even.
It's real bad.
I can't even say my next comment because it's not supposed to be sexual, but it is, and I just
gotta hear it. Gotta hear it now.
You getting turned on by that saggy face?
The opening in his neck looks like the opening of
wow.
No. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be gross. I'm not trying to be gross, but
it's real gross. I put the link in the chat if you can see it, Christian. It's real bad. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it looks like somebody. Somebody was just tugging on the skin on his face. Just started yanking it off. It would like a you know how you melt something with like a lighter, you just
the second link is much more bearable.
Yeah.
It looks like they go so build this model of like a weird creepy Voldemort and get it here to the studios by 5 p.m. and then the guy was like, I'm gonna do it. And then he parked his car and locked his keys in there, and then he had to wait for AAA, and then it all melted. And he's like, "Oh no!"
Half of it
he's
melted.
He's like, "Well, this is what I got. The other half, this is the side directly in the, lining the window of my Miata. Sorry."
No, that's a really good analogy. The other analogy that I have is, the grandmother from the Golden Girls. It looks like her grandmother.
Ah, man.
Yeah, it's real bad.
I kind of like Laus's idea, though, because I just watched this video today, and it was talking about how the world of Breaking Bad connects to the world of The Walking Dead. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. It does this weird connection thing, and how what's the main character for Breaking Bad created the meth.
Walter White?
Yeah, Walter created the meth, and that turned everybody into zombies. And the first guy they blew up that died, the first main bad character from the chicken place, I forget his name, was the first zombie, and so on and so forth. So they did this whole connection thing. So if this is true, Laus, to your point, which is not, I'm just saying.
Oh boy,
this guy, this guy could be whatever the fuck you just said.
Are you saying that Breaking Bad and Walking Dead is tied into the Star Wars universe? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I'm kind of confused in that one too.
No. Voldemort from Harry Potter is tied into the Star Wars universe.
It's tied into Star Wars universe with Breaking Bad and Walking Dead.
So Voldemort is Snoke.
Your Snoke theory sucks.
Can we?
I'm obviously joking based on the whole Walter White Walking Dead.
Shout out. Steal shot in front of the show. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Can we not forget that? Can we not forget the movie E.T.? Can we not do that?
Wait, so now we all know how the Walking Dead universe.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, but doesn't he look
chasing our tail here?
So imagine Harvey Dent from The Last Night or from Dark Knight, healed, right? A little bit, and then had force powers.
So now he's Two-Face. All right.
So now we've got Batman in the universe, and Batman can just solve everything.
Dude, I've never been more wanting to see Star Wars than I am right now. I'm just gonna say that.
Well,
so
We
it's
can have your chance in December.
yeah, Christian Roberts,
you'll be here.
Let me tell you one thing. That part when E.T. comes rolling in and that DeLorean with Voldemort driving, best part ever. Gotta say it.
Hell yeah!
Now
dude.
we have Back to the Future. Oh, Jesus.
Just the best part right there. Yeah, man. I got chills every time, you know.
This is just tangenting so hard.
Yeah. It's usually my job.
There we go.
Episode 53 or whatever the fuck we're on.
I don't want to look at his face anymore. It's just gross. Yeah, it's real gross. But the other pictures that came out, and Christian, if you're looking, it's in the second link I sent you. These are leaked photos, so nothing unusual here. Ray's got a lightsaber. Kylo's got his scar move. That's fine. Luke looks like a badass. Phasma's actually fighting for once, which is great. Love to see that happen. And who's this red guy? That's the only thing I don't know. It's like there's a red guard here. Anybody
Queen Amidala's reincarnation.
Would be a red guard?
No, the whole style of hair and dress just reminded me of Queen Amidala.
It's a face and a helmet. All right.
I know.
Go.
All right.
Well,
Ryan's delivery is cracking me up right now. he waits like a solid dry gulp. He just goes, Queen Amidala.
I think he's playing Clue with Star Wars characters that he's well aware of because he's a prequelist and he hasn't seen all the other shows.
I'm just trying to close out all these windows, but I can't.
You can't do that on your Windows?
See, I just try to look up the poster, and now I'm getting a Ryan Roberts response. It's like Disney, Muppets, Toy Story, Pirates of the Caribbean kind of poster.
Oh no, are they all in the universe too?
Yeah, let's go
They're all
down
in
that
the
road.
universe now.
Let's go down that road.
I would love to hear Captain Jack Sparrow say, "It's a trap." That's.
I'd like to hear Fozzie Bear. I'd like to hear Fozzie Bear over the radio. I'm like, wow. That'd be great. Just like in the chatter when they're all fighting, like Fozzie Bear was like, waka waka. We see a waka waka.
Waka Waka Walter White. Waka Waka Walking Dead. Tying it back in. That's it. It's happening. This is the thing. Hashtag Brewmasters.Club. We just
Is
figured
Star
it out.
Fox coming into play here? I figured I'd throw that in there. I'm just saying.
It's a trap.
Take to the pond, Froggy.
Oh, yeah. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah. We're back. And we're back.
There it is.
Just because Dane's not on the show, I'm going to make the Dane's Mary Poppins y'all shirt and just send it to him.
That'd be great.
Just
Please
real
do.
quick, how long is the side piece for Kylo Ren's lightsaber? Because I feel like if it was any closer to his body, he would impale himself.
Someone's
you guys went there.
overcompensating.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's not long, but yeah, you're right. If it's a couple.
I've seen longer.
I've seen longer.
Oh boy.
I don't know. The one thing about these pictures, though, I'm excited to see Phasma actually looking like she's going to do something this time because that last one was bad. Didn't do anything.
What? She had the accent. That's cool.
That's all she did.
That's all she needed was the accent.
That's all she had.
Yeah. Well, she had that chrome suit. That was also cool. Yeah.
So Crobbs, you'll enjoy this because we'll do the opening weekend or whatever whenever we can link up, and we'll do Star Wars Episode 8 in theaters, and we'll drink. We get a growler of blue milk, and we go to the movie theater and we drink it all, of course, and then we have a couple more beers and we go in and see the new Star Wars. So
And then
the first
throw
year
up?
we did
Is that,
this.
No. Actually, I think Crobbs, you and I should get together and Donnie and Laos brew some blue milk.
Yeah.
Whoa.
See, we
You're
have
talking
a,
about-
yeah.
Brew milk?
Sure.
we're talking about
All right.
Luke. That's what it's going to be called. First off, it's just going to be called Luke. Ryan doesn't understand that.
I do. I do. I'm
Okay,
not.
good.
Episode 4.
Yeah, you're good. You're on point.
I'm good.
You're on
I'm on
point,
point.
Well, good. So we got Christian. So now that we have Crobbs, he can actually tell us what we can actually add to it to make a cloudy blue. So we need like a cloudy complexion with a blue tint. All right.
Oh, that's easy. A wheat beer with blue food coloring.
Well, there you go.
Or
All right.
actually a better one, a blueberry wheat beer. And
See,
now
I was
Christian,
thinking. I was thinking a
let the
white
gears
stout
turn.
though. I was thinking a white stout
Mhm.
with some blue milk or some blue food coloring.
So say
won't be cloudy. The only way, no, I'm just saying the only way it's gonna get cloudy is you have to have wheat in there. Wheat
Fair
it's essentially the gluten. Sorry, vegan fans, but it's the gluten that actually creates that haze.
I'm all for it, man.
Well-
Let's put it together.
I'm just saying, you two Robert scientists get together and figure it out, and then we can do a couple test batches between now and then. We have less than 6 months to go, so honestly, we probably have 4 months to go because that might have to sit for a month. So let's figure it out.
Not really.
Well, 3
I
weeks.
don't think more than 3 weeks. 3 weeks be good.
2-3
so
weeks.
Yeah, so we're talking almost a month. So I'm just saying that's 4 months from now. So let's figure it out and make it happen, and then we can actually really do something like this. And of course, if we develop that, or when we develop that recipe, we will share it out with all of our lovely followers and fans, because after that point, probably right around when we're brewing it, it will be our 1 year anniversary of the podcast, boys. So everybody give yourself a round of applause.
Oh
But
wow!
that's coming in, I want to say August is when we'll actually have that's this month. I think our first show was the 24th of this month. So by the time we start brewing that and we start actually talking about that, we'll be well into our first year of the podcast. So to everybody that's listening, we appreciate the support and everything. We thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I'm just hearing is costumes and blue beer for Star Wars.
Of course.
Boom.
Yeah.
I was
course.
actually thinking of
yeah,
putting the
right there.
recipe for sale on the Amazon link below, but you know.
Well, we can't put it for sale. We'll give it away to all the fellow
I know. I'm
fans.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Speaking of selling things, though, someone's wife is a seamstress, and she can make us all Jedi costumes, is what I heard.
Oh,
I think we could work something out.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys
think
are gonna
so.
have to all come over to get tailored. So
That's fine.
I'm okay with that. Got to do that anyways for the beer.
His wife is very thorough,
True.
too. She's real handsy.
hey,
Mm.
bring some
Boy.
beer.
All right, boys. Well, this has been a quick one. I told you we had a lot to cover, so we went very quickly. But where can the good folks find you, Mr. Roberts, Ryan of the Ryan type?
Yeah, please specify. Brewboy, Brewboy813 on Instagram and Twitter. So hit me up.
Mr. Lousman, where can the good kids find you?
I can always be found at Mr. Lousman.
On Instagram, Twitter, none of the above.
Oh no, just in general.
In the phone book, just look them up.
In the phone. Yeah.
This
God,
could
you
be
stole my
true.
joke, man.
Didn't we already say this once? If everybody just Googles Mr. Lousman, where can they find him?
Oh no, it's
Mr.
hilarious.
Lousman,
I highly
Where
recommend
is
it. Usually the best picture of me is on Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney World, so highly recommend that one as your
that's the image
screensaver.
search. If you do Google Mr. Lousman, where is he? You actually get up the hashtag get off my stage, which is funny.
Well, technically, I'm the concept of Mr. Lost Man is more of like a Flat Stanley type of thing, but yeah, I mean it's if you need to find me at one place, I suppose you can look on Twitter at Mr. Lost Man. So.
And Mr. Crobbs, where can the good kids find you?
Always check me out at the Traveling Pint on Instagram
Yeah, you still
and
keeping that
Twitter.
alive?
and Facebook. Yeah, the blog's not really going so much right now, but everything else is.
Because you were
Nice.
documenting kind of your whole travels, right, at the same time as you were scooting
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the world.
I kind of pulled the blog just because I haven't had the time to edit. And so once I get all my photos back up, that'll be all back up and going.
So
But yeah,
what you're saying is that blogging turned to brewing because that's the sound of what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
hearing.
exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what it is.
Solid.
If you
All
ask,
right.
if you ask me, you're just brogging now.
Oh, this is
So
why
you-
we're paying you to come up with beer names, Laos.
Aha.
You can always find me and the entire cast here. All of us monitor the Brewmasters.Club social medias. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Hiccup.
everywhere. Hiccups,
Hiccups.
YouTube. Yeah, I said that already. You can find us anywhere you want. Just use the follow the Brewmasters Club, and it's not Dutch. Just at Brewmasters Club. If you want to participate in the conversation, tweet at any one of the lovely young folks we have on this panel, or simply just use hashtag Brewmasters Club Cast to tap into us and tap into the conversation. This week's sponsor was, again, I had to mention the SYNEK system. It is that great system, size of a Keurig, that throws craft beer on your counter out of a growler, makes you a little mini kegerator. It's attractive. It's beautiful to look at. It has a 20-ounce CO2 tank that it keeps your beer at a lovely 32 degrees. It's just great. I used it all the time. I've been using it ever since I got one. And I want a big shout out to those guys. If you want to pick up a SYNEK system for yourself, we can get you 25% off. That's about $100. So you can go to SYNEK.beer. So that's www.synek.beer. That's SYNEK.beer. Enter the promo code Brewmasters.Club, one word, and you'll save yourself $100. If nothing else, get it for your friend, get it for your buddy, get it for your husband, if for the ladies out there, or the men. It's 2017. I get it. Anybody that wants one out there, go ahead and grab it. $100 off. It's a great deal, and it's a great system. I know you guys love it too, but anything else? All right.
Tune in next week.
As we say, tune in next week. As we say every podcast, as we go ahead and shut the doors. Christian, what do we say? What's our famous catchphrase?
Drink up.
That'll work. Usually I target Laos. He just ducked out of the way, so that's fine. Drink up. Yeah, drink up, everybody. Cheers, and thank you all for joining us. So
cheers.
Have a good
Cheers.
one.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, craft brews and geek news. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters.Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!